What would you do if your husband's killers were standing before you? Would you run or love them? Elisabeth Elliot didn't just forgive them. She chose to live among them. This is one of the most powerful stories of forgiveness and total surrender to God. And today, I'm going to tell you everything. Elisabeth Howard was born in the United States in 1926, and from a young age, she knew she had a calling to take God's word to the most distant places on earth. It was in college that she met Jim Elliot, a young missionary as passionate about Jesus as she was. Together, they dreamed of reaching people who had never heard of Christ. Married and full of faith, they set off for Ecuador to evangelize the Quechua tribe. But God had even greater plans for them. The Huaorani were an isolated and feared people. Anyone who approached died. But Jim and 4 other missionaries believed that God could reach them.
Meeting the Huaorani.
With courage, they started making contact, dropping gifts from a plane and trying to communicate. Everything seemed to be going well, but on January 8, 1956, something terrible happened. Jim and his friends were hopeful, but suddenly, the radio went silent. Days later, their bodies were found, all brutally murdered.
Unbelievable forgiveness.
Elisabeth was now a widow, holding her small daughter in her arms. But her response to suffering shocked the world. What would be the natural reaction? Hatred, revenge, giving up on the mission. Not for Elisabeth. Just 2 years later, she did something unthinkable. She returned to the very place where her husband was killed and began living among his killers. With love and patience, Elisabeth showed them the message of Christ, and one by one, the warriors who once killed without mercy began to surrender to the gospel. One of the very men who killed Jim Elliot became a Christian and helped spread the word to others.
Elisabeth Elliot's legacy.
After years living among the Huaorani, Elisabeth returned to the United States, but she never stopped sharing what she had learned. She wrote dozens of books, impacted millions of lives, and showed the world that the love of Christ has no limits. Elisabeth Elliot's life is proof that forgiveness is stronger than hatred. Maybe you've never faced something this extreme, but is there someone you need to forgive today? If this story impacted you, share it with someone. And tell me in the comments, would you have this kind of courage? May God bless you, and see you in the next video.
Be a light wherever God plants you.